Dear friend who lives beside my world, I am writing to you tonight. I trust your eyes are warm and your room is calm. I want to tell you something that lives close to my bones. I want to share it plain and clear. In my world we grow younger as we live. We are born with tired knees and careful hands. We begin with a body that knows winter and a mind that knows almost nothing. Then each year our bodies ease and our minds open. The pain leaves first, and then the hurry leaves too. One morning you wake and your fingers move like little birds. One afternoon you realize you can run without fear. We call that day Unwrinkening Day, and it feels like a new sky. I remember my own unwrinkening day as if it was breathing light. My shoes felt lighter than a good secret. My face did not change much, yet my stride did. People in the park clapped when I took the third lap. A stranger handed me water and said well done. My mother laughed and cried, which is a common mix here. Our first years are careful years. We hold mugs with 2 hands. We sleep with extra pillows to lift the breath. We learn patience before we learn speed. We learn trust before we learn style. Our families build cradles that fit big bodies and heavy blankets. We have nurseries with strong rails and low lights. People speak softly and walk slowly at the start. Some days feel like long winters, but the thaw comes. The thaw is the promise this world keeps. Early tenderness shapes us like water shapes clay. Because care arrives first, it becomes our shared language. We are trained to notice small discomforts in others. We ask gentle questions and wait for full answers. We do not rush a cup of tea, and we do not rush a goodbye. Our schools open later than yours would expect. We start true study when our bodies can carry bags without effort. We climb stairs while minds are hungry and legs are ready. The classrooms brim with hands that want tools and mouths that want ideas. We call our grade levels growth rings. Each ring marks what you can hold without breaking. We do not judge by face lines or hair colour. We judge by a measure we call the cognitive age index. We shortenist CAI, and everyone understands it. CAI marks when you can vote, sign, drive, or marry. CAI grows with time and with practice. You can study to lift it, but you cannot fake it for long. The tests are not tricks, and the monitors are patient. CAI prevents some of our worst mistakes. It keeps a steady fence between eagerness and readiness. You might wonder about love here. Love here looks older than it feels and younger than it sounds. People date with a small card that shows their CAI and a simple badge of consent. The badge must pulse green for both people. Low pulse means no date. Yes is only a yes when both minds align. Our jokes about this are sweet rather than crude. We laugh about first dates where the card steals the kiss. We tease about candle dinners where both badges turn green at the same time. Our weddings do not promise forever by habit. Our weddings promise presence by choice. Every few years the vows renew or rest. Renewal is a fresh yes, and rest is a gentle change. We do not call it failure when people choose rest. We call it an honest turn on the road. Families look interesting on photo walls. A child may look like a grandparent in early pictures. The same child will look like a teenager in later frames. The same child will look like a newborn at the end. The photo line reads like a river that runs uphill. Our holidays follow this flow. We celebrate the first day you wake without joint pain. We celebrate the first day you can carry your own cup with one hand. We celebrate the first day you run. We celebrate the first day you forget to be careful. The last days come quietly like sunrise. The body grows small and light. The breath grows bright and short. We call that time the cradle season. The cradle season is not a secret and not a storm. Families sing low songs and speak simple truths. They say stay, and they say go, and both feel kind. We keep rooms warm and shadows friendly. We share milk and soft bread. We tell the person that they were brave and funny and needed. We tell them that the world is grateful. We tell them that the hard part was at the start and they could it. When I volunteer, I write letters for people during that season. I put their last thoughts into words that travel. Those words often sound like first words. They say love and they say thank you. They say listen and they say rest. Work in our world starts when our backs are ready. We do apprenticeships in our buzzing years. People plant forests, shape boats, write code and teach math. The most respected fields are care, craft and clarity. Care means nursing, social work and support. Craft means making strong things that last. Clarity means law, science and translation. Many people choose care during their first years of work. They feel the memory of being fragile. That memory guides generous hands. Bosses here brag about safe schedules and long lunches. We design tools that forgive clumsy days. We plan cities around benches and shade. Our oldest parks have slow lanes and quick lanes. Our trains have seats that lean far back without judgment. Shopkeepers keep reaches, I soup aisle and never hide them. We build for the body you have this morning. We grow for the body you will have next year. Our economy counts health as a form of wealth. We track tenderness like we track profit. We tie policy to well-being with simple numbers. A town that holds more people through their first hard season earns grants. A hospital that keeps families together during the cradle season wins awards. We avoid flashy metrics that flatter managers. We keep humble lists that flatter nurses and janitors. Sports here are a delight. Peaks come in the middle years when legs and lungs sing. Youth lead look elderly in photos, which confuses visitors. The game is the same, that the smiles carry a slower wisdom. We have safety rules for sudden youthening twists. Coaches teach posture as an art. Kids who look like grandparents do cartwheels, and the stands roar wholesome joy. We clap for the cartwheel and the courage. Beauty standards bent with our biology. Lines on the face are early life badges. Smooth cheeks are signs of long travel. No one panics about a grey strand in a school photo. No one marks a teen who uses hand cream. We laugh with them and buy a better brand. Media learned that kindness sells. Ads shifted from fear to care. Stories shifted from punishment to repair. Villains now are often people who hoard comfort. Heroes are people who share it without fanfare. Law followed culture as it tends to do. Judges quote the CAI and quote plain sense. The best rulings are short and clear. They ask whether a choice shows learning. They ask whether a choice protects the small. We measure harm by pressure on the fragile. We measure fairness by load on the strong. Some cases break hearts and need long evenings. The court keeps tea warm and chairs soft for those nights. The people speak and the law listens. I wish I could take you to our markets. You would see prams the size of couches near the start of the rows. You would see tiny cradles near the end of the rows. You would taste jams that promise joy across the years. Vendors label jars with stories instead of buzzwords. A label might say this fruit grew in a patient orchard. Another might say these berries were picked by cousins who sing, We pay extra for effort that keeps dignity intact. We tip for patience far more than for speed. Our schools teach children to repair as a first response. We teach students to mend cloth and also to mend moods. We teach students to listen without fixing and to ask before helping. We teach students to say, "Will you show me?" We teach students to ask what could make this easier. We teach students to try small first. My favourite class was a listening lab. We had to sit with someone who would not choose our advice. We had to keep steady and curious for 15 minutes. We learned that advice grows best after respect. We learned that respect grows best after silence. Faith here changed shape, but not heart. Many people believe that we are made to unlearn fear. Many people believe that innocence is not a start but a goal. Sermons are short and focused on gentle courage. Choirs sing simple lines with whole lungs and open faces. We grieve without shame and give thanks without irony. Our grief does not stab as much as it holds. Our thanks does not boast as much as it lifts. I promised to keep this letter like water, so I will pour a story. Last month a student came to my office after unwrinkling day. They looked 40 in the face and 16 in the eyes. They had run a mile and cried on the track. They asked if being strong means being loud. I said strength means being steady where someone needs a shore. They said they wanted to be a shore for their younger sibling. I said then you were already strong. We talked about care plans and rest schedules. We set a weekly tea time and stuck to it. 2 weeks later they smiled without asking permission from the room. It was a small miracle and also an ordinary miracle. We live on such miracles every month. Another story curls at the edge of the page. An athlete wanted to adopt a child who was near the end of life. The child looked like a grandparent and laughed like a belle. The athlete looked like a champion and cried like a novice. People argued about readiness and risk. The court asked the right questions with no rush. Can you keep a soft room? Can you sing without words when words are too heavy? Can you rest without guilt when rest is the right medicine? The answers grew sure and kind. The adoption went through and the town threw a quiet party. A quiet party is my favourite kind. There was soup and bread and easy chairs. There were colouring books and gentle jokes. That night the child slept between 2 steady hearts. That morning the athlete learned to rock at a slow pace. That week a new family found its rhythm. I think about you while our city lights up for festivals. I imagine you crossing the street with music in your ears. I hope you step into that music the way we step into unwrinkling day. I hope you find a bench that forgives your mood. I hope your friends bring snacks you like without asking. I hope your work gives you room to learn and room to stop. I hope you write lists that include joy as a task. I hope you grade yourself on kindness and sleep. I want to give you tools that fit in a pocket. The first tool is a question that never breaks. What would make this easier? The second tool is a promise that never bruises. I will come back when you say. The third tool is a phrase that cleans the air. Thank you for telling me. Use these tools on days that rust. Use them on yourself when you feel like a cupboard of old nails. Use them on others when they feel like doors that stick. You asked me once if fear shrinks as we grow younger. The truth is that fear changes flavour rather than size. Early fear is fear of falling and bruising. Middle fear is fear of choosing and missing. Late fear is fear of leaving and losing. We answer each fear with a different courage. We answer falling with rails and hands. We answer choosing with pauses and maps. We'll answer leaving with songs and letters. Letters like this hold a shape that can cross worlds. They do not forget details when the room goes quiet. They do not rush unless you ask them to. They keep a record that the heart can read. When we say goodbye to someone in the cradle season, we read their first letters again. We look for early promises that grew true. We look for tiny seeds that became forests. We look for hints that love was the main craft all along. You might wonder if our science ever tries to change the direction of aging. It tries sometimes and then sets down the wrench. Most teams decide the better question is how to make each turn gentler. Our doctors learn from midwives and our midwives learn from doctors. Our labs test materials that make beds safer and shoes softer. Our best inventions are often chairs and blankets. I work with a group that designs meeting rooms. We remove harsh lights and add soft clocks. We place the clock low so tired eyes do not strain. We keep pens that glide and keys that do not bite. You would smile at our door signs. They say take your time, and they say ask for help early. They say you are not late if you are here. Our museums tell our story in reverse halls. The first room shows great effort, not great conquest. The second room shows simple tools, not complex heroes. The last room shows lullabies collected from many homes. People leave with quiet eyes and full chests. They leave ready to lift a bag for a stranger. They leave ready to let someone else go first. We do not measure progress by speed in those halls. We measure by how slow you can stand still for someone else. I want to talk about humour because humour keeps us. Our teens who look 60 tell very good jokes about bedtime. They make puns about wrinkle cream and algebra. They do sits about curfews and calcium. We laugh without scorn. We laugh because the mirror is an ally, not an enemy. Our comedies like to end with people sharing soup. Our dramas like to end with people sharing silence. Our news likes to end with people sharing plans. You asked if birthdays feel odd. They do not, because we celebrate what changed and what stayed. We write a list of things that got easier and things that got wiser. We thank the people who made both lists longer. We promise to add one more person to our circle that year. We make that promise to ourselves and to the door. I keep a notebook for small vowels. I write I will drink water before coffee. I write I will let the slowest walker set the pace today. I write I will make my room quiet before I make my point. Most days I do 2 of the 3. The third waits without scolding me. Waiting is a form of love here. We practice it in lines, in lobbies, and in living rooms. We practice it with strangers and with ourselves. We practice it until it feels like breathing. I want to tell you about my neighbour. He started life with brittle bones and a fierce wit. He now rides a bike with a bell that sounds like a laugh. He spends afternoons fixing loose cabinet doors in our building. He refuses payment and accepts cookies. He says repairs are his prayers. He says the hinge is a tiny promise of return. When his cradle season comes, he says he wants the bell nearby. He says the last sound he hears should be a small laugh. I said he should also hear our oven timers because he loves cake. He said that is a perfect plan. We agreed that perfect plans include dessert. You might wonder what we fear breaking most. We fear breaking trust more than breaking glass. We fear breaking momentum when someone is healing. We fear breaking a joke that someone needed. So we cushion our voices and watch our timing. We learn to read a room before we move the furniture. Our teachers show us how to make a pause that feels safe. Our coaches show us how to make a cheer that feels honest. Our leaders show us how to admit a mistake without a mask. I wish leaders everywhere could do that last one. You would fit here because you care about gentle courage. You would fit here because you enjoy stories with small doors and big rooms. You would fit here because you walk at the speed of welcome. Maybe you already live that way in your world. Maybe you teach someone to breathe slower before big tests. Maybe you keep extra tissues in your bag for other people. Maybe you speak well of people who are not in the room. If so, we are neighbours even now. Our streets are made from the same dust of kindness. Our kitchens smell like the same clean lemonade for a hard day. I wish I could send you a jar of our gem. It would have a label that says open when the light is thin. It would taste like a long table with chairs for everyone. It would taste like someone saved you a seat and meant it. When I was small in mind and big in body, I once fell on the steps. A woman I did not know sat next to me until the worry passed. She said, "I trust your legs to remember." She said the ground is not an enemy. She said we can rest while the pain leaves. I learned that day that rescue can be quiet. I learned that day that healing can be slow and still be healing. My legs did remember 2 weeks later. I left a note at those steps that said thank you for holding me without lifting me. I hope that woman saw it and felt seen. I hope someone like her meets you on a hard stair someday. Our world is not a fantasy of ease. We lose people and we shake with missing them. We argue over rules and we weep over bills. We waste mornings and regret afternoons. We offend and we repair and we learn. What we keep is a habit of return. We return to the table. We return to the bench. We return to the letter. We return to the promise to try again. Some nights I walk by the river and count lit windows. Each window is a life making dinner or making amends. Each window is a life reading or resting or laughing. I bless the windows without making a scene. I bless the windows so the city remembers we are a choir. You once asked me what I would send to your world, if I could. I would send you our habit of asking what would make this easier. I would send you our habit of tipping for patience. I would send you our habit of ending meetings with one thanks and one next step. I would send you our habit of reading old letters before hard talks. I would send you our lullabies because they fit on any pillow. Your world would not need our laws to try our rituals. Your world could sing now and write now and mend now. Your world could name people who are good at waiting and give them medals. Your world could measure goodness by how burdens shrink around the weak. If you try it, please tell me what happens. I love hearing about experiments that protect tenderness. I love hearing about questions that grow wiser in the asking. I love hearing that someone slept better because someone else sat nearby. In my desk drawer I keep a bundle of tiny thank you notes. I write them during long calls and tuck them under doors later. Each note is one sentence that says I noticed your effort. It works better than any speech I have ever given. I recommend this practice to everyone who owns a pen. I also keep a small list of firsts I still want. I want to learn to bake bread that makes the whole hall smell kind. I want to fix a bike chain for a neighbour without watching a guide. I want to write a story that helps someone forgive themselves. I want to hold a hand during a hard night and keep my voice steady. I want to give a gift that fits into a pocket and lasts a season. I hope you have a list like this somewhere. If you do not have one, make one tonight and keep it near your keys. Add lines that feel small and bright. Add lines that feel possible by Friday. Add one line that scares you a little but not a lot. Cross out lines with a pencil so softness stays. This is how we move from ache to war without breaking. This is how we keep our steps light as our years turn. This is how we avoid the trap of chasing a perfect face. This is how we learn to chase a generous day instead. I'm close to the end of this letter. The sky here is the colour of warm milk. The street is quiet except for a bicycle bell. I think my neighbour is making cake again. I wish you could smell it and smile. I wish you could have the corner piece, which is always the best piece. I wish you peace that fits like a sweater. I wish you energy that arrives in honest waves. I wish you a friend who texts bring soup without asking. I wish you a place in the room that feels like home. Thank you for reading the steps of my day and the shape of my world. Thank you for holding these pictures with care. Thank you for trusting my words to travel across the seam between us. I will keep writing as long as you keep opening the door. I will send my next note when the river turns silver again. Until then I leave you with a simple charge. Make one thing softer for someone this week. Then tell me what you learned from that act. I will collect your lesson with my own. I sign off as your friend who lives beside your world. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a kind comment. If you would like to support the channel, use the QR code at the lower right or the link in the description. The description also includes links to other works from a different series. Take care for now, and please join me for the next story.